Hey guys, welcome to another day with Zimaleta. So let's begin with the turbo. So the reason most of the time that you're getting a turbo limp mode, it's not because the turbo is bad, and it's probably not even because you got the oil inside of you know, that little system, because the turbo actually does have seals and it does let oil in there to lubricate the turbo, and some of the seals let a little bit more oil get through, which is, I guess, it's not that bad, but if it gets really bad, then you're gonna get a case of runaway diesel. I'll explain that a little bit later on in this video. So the oil from your engine, this is why we're using full synthetic oil. It is used to lubricate the turbo as it's spinning, guys. And this is a very high quality turbo, guys. This is a grade turbo, so most likely by the computer, I'm not sure what the PSIs are. If I had to guess, it's probably like 6.5 or 7 PSI. So it's not really tuned to where it's going to, like, the turbo is gonna like just go out, you know, just by itself like that. Because these are just, you know, 5-cylinder sprinters. Even if you're talking about 6-cylinder sprinters, it's a grady turbo, guys. This is a performance type of turbo that you know, people use in their like race cars and stuff. I remember this like back in the day before I even owned the Sprinter. Most people that was installed in the turbo kits and stuff, that were using grady turbos, grady blow-off valves and stuff like that. Because I'm into cars and stuff. Did I just say I'm into guys? Yeah, I need to get some sleep. But I'm into cars and I like performance stuff, guys. I was thinking one day, like, man, like, I would just love to have like a performance shop, you know, just doing like upgrades and stuff on like regular cars and stuff. But anyways, guys, this turbo is not tuned up to where it's just going to give you, you know, all this like crazy type of performances and stuff. And it's got basically turbo actuator valve, which is controlled by a tiny little computer that actually controls the actual actuator, and that talks to your normal type of computer. And what happens is, when you get in that turbo limp mode, it is usually going to throw a code, and the code is going to say turbo overboost condition detected. So then, if you got a computer and you could actually check that, then you actually know, okay, so why is it overboost condition detected, but yet it's not even pulling? It's like really slow. And it's because once it detects a little problem, the actual turbo actuator, when it's talking to the computer, it realizes that there's a boost leak and the more pressure is getting out. It's getting out somewhere. It's being lost. So then the turbo is trying to compensate for all this lost pressure, so it starts spinning faster. And the actuator, the turbo actuator, the electronic portion, detects that it is actually spinning like really fast and stuff. So it's actually over boosting. It's producing like a lot of boost and stuff. And these sprinters got sensors, and the new ones got double the sensors. So obviously it detects this, and it's gonna place you in a limp mode, which is not fun. And you're gonna be just driving, you know, like you're gonna feel like there's no turbo completely, and it's just gonna be really slow. There is a way to check that. Like, you could use like one of those like little plug-in OBD2 readers. I'm probably gonna leave a link, guys, at some point on some of these videos once I find a good one, so you guys could get it. Usually they're about 20 bucks. You could link it with your phone. There's an iOS version, there's an Android version, and the OBD2 reader will give you a reading, how fast your turbo's spinning, and all kinds of stuff, guys, including your miles per gallon on your old sprinters, even though you don't have a miles per gallon type of gauge. But that system somehow is able to tell your miles per gallon. I mean, it's probably estimating and guessing. It's maybe wrong. But anyways, guys, it is normal for the turbo, once it detects this overboost condition, to just basically kill the turbo. But the turbo's not dead. The turbo's still good. And the problem with this is, guys, I've talked to way too many guys that talked to me and they said, oh, I had my turbo replaced. Oh, I had my turbo replaced. I had my turbo replaced, but I still have this problem. And different people telling me this, and I'm like thinking, man, these guys got ripped off, man. I feel so bad for them. Because guys, I talk to at least like 3 guys a year where they replaced the turbo. I never had to replace a turbo, guys. Every time my turbo went out, it was due to the fact that the actual actuator is, you know, it maybe closes the turbo down, so you're not gonna, you know, be able to just have any performance out of it. And sometimes temporarily you could reset it when you're driving. You can just twist the key back, twist it on. You'll regain some of the power. And usually, you know, like when this problem is just starting to begin, it will last a little bit. Like you might be able to drive like that for, I don't know, like maybe, let's say like 30 minutes. But then it gets to a point where you turn the key off and on and maybe lasts about a minute. So you regain your performance, but then the computer realizes and it starts being kind of bad again. And the very noticeable place when this actually happens is usually in the mountains, because the turbo really has to work hard to try to get up those hills and stuff. So it will immediately like kick the turbo off. Maybe in the straight roads, it's not going to detect it really, you know, that much, because you're just kind of like rolling along, and for the most part, you're doing good. So let's talk about why is this happening? Like, where's this turbo boost being lost? The most common place, guys, where this turbo boost is being lost is actually at turbo resonator, guys. It is a plastic-looking thing, which is about like that round. It's a little bit oddly shaped like that. It plugs in right to the turbo, guys, so it's not hard to miss. And it's got a little like little leg to it, which mounts with 2 bolts directly onto your alternator type of piece there, like that the alternator has. It basically mounts to that like a bracket. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like an alternator bracket. Man, I'm seeing a truck that's just well, I'm not gonna try to really twist the thing here, but looks like he lost control and just completely just went in the field there. Yeah, he messed his truck pretty bad. Sorry, I'm not able to show you guys that. I just don't want to really get distracted with that right now. But anyways, guys, that part, you could actually buy one that will never break again. The turbo resonator. There's a metal one that's sold. I'm pretty sure by now you can pick them up on eBay and stuff. But there's a metal one. There is one that's being sold at San Diego, Europarts San Diego, like .com or something. But you just need to probably search for it like on Google. It's somewhere in San Diego, California, a Europart store that has them. But there's one site that's fake. They use the same name, but you know, you immediately know it's not. You know, they're trying to sell parts and stuff, but it's not them. Because that other side, when you go there, you'll see that they have like the Volkswagen vans, they've got the Mercedes vans, and they got a really nice selection of different type of parts. Fairly reasonable. But they're a little bit higher than you could actually find online. Like if you really look around, you can find some better deals. But anyways, they sell that kit, guys. In the very next other thing, of course, that's going to cause a leak is your hoses, the turbo hoses. So you got to look for one of those having, you know, a hole or something, or maybe a fitting got loose, or you know, something. So you're gonna have to inspect it for holes and ribs. And sometimes this could happen. You know, maybe a little rock hit your basically your turbo intercooler, and it busted like a little hole in it, and you probably losing some boost from there. So that could happen. So if you cannot find anywhere, then maybe, you know, look at that. But I've never had that happen to me. That portion is protected pretty well by the bumper. It is not exposed to like the rocks. But I'm just saying, you know, it can happen. You know, it's not like I haven't seen it happen before. I've seen a guy that, you know, his fan come loose, the actual bracket, the fan bracket, and it broke up in 3 pieces, and pieces started flying everywhere, and it basically busted a hole in his radiator, his intercooler, and AC condenser. So yeah, he was out some money, big time. Plus, he needed to get towed, and as luck would have it, he was in the middle of nowhere, kind of like pretty much the desert, you know, somewhere probably like Nevada, like area, or like Utah, like one of those places. He was really in an unlucky, unfortunate situation, and this actually happened in a 2007 Sprinter, that particular bracket. I've never seen it fail on a 2002 to 2006. I've never seen it happen, you know. But obviously, guys, this video is actually 11 minutes. I guess I underestimated myself with this one, so I'm going to make another video that's going to be transmission related, because yeah, obviously 2 different topics. You don't want to probably listen this long and then start listening to the other portion, because probably that one should be all by itself. But guys, this is typically what happens. So don't replace your turbo, guys. Inspect it for the leaks. Try to basically stop the leak. And oh yes, I almost forgot to mention, of course I already mentioned all the turbo hoses, but the round hose, guys, that goes on the very top, that curves, that goes to your intake manifold, guys, check that one for a crack towards the bottom of the hose, guys. I don't understand it, but it always rips over there at the bottom. So I know I've said this in my previous videos when I was having a Limp mode. It happened to be with the AGR, but I still check for those things too, because AGR does Limp modes too, guys, and they're kind of crazy. And there's actually a temperature sensor that's located inside of a turbo hose, which once that thing goes out of whack, because it, you know, gets moisture on it, and it probably like burns it out or something, or at least it's detecting a different type of resistance. It will also put your turbo in the Limp mode. So yeah, it's a temperature sensor, guys, that's plugged in on the side where the battery is, into that plastic portion. Kind of like if you reach down, you'll see that sensor plugged in. And there's another sensor right next to it, which is a barometric sensor. But the one I'm talking about is like a plasticky thing. You pull it out and you see kind of like this, you know, you see all the electronics kind of like on it, you know, where it plugs in. So that is that, guys. I just want to, you know, quickly make a video on that in case anybody is struggling, like some of my viewers, with this turbo problem. I don't want you to go buy yourself a turbo, because that's going to be expensive. Typically, they don't sell turbo without a turbo actuator, so you're probably going to be looking at like $1,500. Now, what I did, guys, I have a parts printer. I paid like $1,600 for this parts printer. Somebody was actually asking me at $1,500 worth of it for a printer that's got like electrical issues. I say yes, because most likely it's a wiring harness, so you get that problem solved. Like almost like obviously. I basically removed a lot of parts from this printer, but one of the parts that I did remove for me was a turbo actuator, and I removed the turbo. So I actually keep those things with me, guys, along with a bunch of other parts. I will make a future video of all the parts that I carry. If you do have that luxury of having all those parts on board, feel free to do so. Of course, I'll show you guys the most common that you'll need, you know, like in a breakdown situation, to the least common, you know. But while I'm actually on the subject of least common, I'm gonna tell you the least common is gonna be the water pump and probably the turbo. You know, those are gonna be kind of like the least common. But the most common one's gonna be your pulleys, your belts, tensioner pulley, of course a battery, maybe your wheel bearings. Even though I never had a wheel bearing issue on this printer, I hope it doesn't happen. Because I have like millions of, well, 1,160,000 miles, and my bearings never failed on this thing. So I'm not saying that it won't, like, but I need to probably remove those hubs with the bearings from my used printer. I mean, from my parts printer, and just carry those, because I don't have those bearings. I have the rear bearings, I have the rear differential bearings as well, but I don't have these 2 front ones. Of course, for those guys, you'll want to remove the metal caps and put some grease in there, guys. Just look for the good stuff. Probably, like, you know, get like synthetic type of grease. You know, put a lot of it in there and just close the cap. That way that stuff gets lubricated. most common mistake that people do is they never check those, and it gets dry, and that's why their bearings fail, guys. It gets dry, and obviously it's spinning and gets overheated. And that actually reminds me, I actually need to do this, open it up, because I haven't looked at it like in about a year. So anyways, guys, let me know if this actually helped you. Please leave it in the comments below if you have any questions. You know me, I always answer your questions. So this is actually something that I do, and I want to continue doing this for my viewers, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of my channel, and for being part of this sprinter community that I'm sort of creating on the YouTube channel. This is my goal, guys, to have a lot of you sprinter owners and expediters come together in one place. We'll help each other out, starting with my videos, and of course your comments and stuff, because a lot of you guys actually try to help me, and you actually help me answer some of my questions. So that's what it's all about, guys. It's us sharing information with each other to help us save money, because we are an expedited business, and the fuel expense is like one of the biggest costs that we have. The next one is probably like the insurance. Probably like well, not the next one, but I guess if you got a sprinter payment, that would be probably like your next biggest, then insurance, and then you got your maintenance. And if you got like a lot of breakdowns and stuff, it's just going to be taking away all your money, and it's going to be very hard to pay rent or your mortgage, and not to mention all your bills, because it really adds up. Like sometimes like I think to myself, man, how does other guys make it? Because I'm thinking, I don't have no van payment, I'm not spending any money to have somebody repair my sprinter, you know, I don't have no mortgage, my bills are very minimum, and I feel that if I didn't work, I would not have any money. You know, that's just the bottom line. I guess we all have to work, and you know, all of us, we have different type of bills. So my goal is to help you guys, and if there's a video that I don't have, guys, please just give me that example of what would you like me to make, because some of the videos I just don't think about making until you guys actually mention it. So so in the next video, I'm going to talk about the transmission type of Limp mode, guys, because I think that's going to be real important as well, the shifting issues and stuff like that, because that could be a big money pit right there. So and a huge headache unless you really know what's going on. So anyways, guys, stay safe. I hope you don't have any breakdowns, and God bless you guys. I appreciate you guys. Bye bye.